Welcome back to Chatting with the Carters. In tonight's episode, we're sitting down with someone who is not only a powerhouse CEO, but she is shaping and trailblazing how businesses and nonprofits are seen online. And we are so excited to have her here with us tonight.
She's the award-winning CEO and founder of See Beyond Marketing Resource Center, known as the Website Whisperer. The website. I gotta make sure I do this right. The Website Whisperer. No, I'm just playing. But for real, the Website Whisperer. If you guys don't know her, you guys need to get to know her because she does a lot in the community for a lot of businesses. Please welcome Dr. Videau.
All right, audience, we want you guys to drop a star in the comments if you believe that reputation, excellence, and resilience can open doors for you the same way Dr. V tells her clients. Welcome, Dr. V. We are so excited to have you.
Glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming and hanging out with us because
Yes.
we clown. So
I'm with it.
We love to have
you with it,
fun.
okay?
I'm with the fun.
She gonna get y'all business right, but we gonna clown a little bit tonight,
Exactly.
though.
Yes.
Okay. But before we get into the clowning,
Yeah.
first thing I want to hit on is
Okay.
we've talked about how you are this powerhouse CEO and you have transformed so many different businesses, but you've done all of that while being a single mother.
Yeah.
How has being a single mother contributed to the level of passion you put into the work you do with your clients?
Well, being a single mom is not easy, but I can't quit. I mean, we gotta eat. Number one.
Mhm.
Number one. I mean, we have to eat. So on one end, it does motivate me to keep pushing. But even before I had him, I had my business. So my business is older than my son. So me wanting to have an identity, use my degree, wanting to be able to have freedom with my time was a big motivator before I had him. And then after having him, it wasn't necessarily the easiest because now at the time I was actually married when I had him. So then you're going through postpartum and trying to heal and nurse your kid. Like it was just a whole lot.
Yeah.
So I think all these years, because my business has been open 11 years and he's just now 7. So like going through these years, transitioning, going through divorce, and then becoming a single mom, I had to really put priorities into such high gear. And at one point in time, the business was really, to me, taking precedence over what I need to be as a mom. And that was very costly, and it was too costly. And I wouldn't recommend that for anybody. I felt like my drive to like keep going and keep things afloat and all that was just such a heavy burden that it was actually more harmful than good. And one day my son had came over to my desk and he was like, "Mommy, like, are you gonna play with me?" And I was like, "But I gotta do," and I had to like catch myself, like, his childhood is only so long.
Mhm.
And how are you gonna justify that in 5 years when he's like, you don't have to play with me now. You don't have to spend time with me now. So my prioritization around my passion had to change, and really putting motherhood first has actually helped me a lot more because the guilt that I was carrying and feeling around trying to grow my business and being a parent is not nearly what it was because my child is no longer neglected in an effort to have a business. My child's not going to be a sacrifice to making it big.
I
Wow.
think that is so beautiful because
Yes.
so many times people feel like there's a time when you feel like you do have to sacrifice one for the other. But at what point did you feel like you were at a space where, okay, now I'm able to just balance the both where I'm not neglecting either?
It's never like a balancing beam where you can be like, well, we're totally even right here.
Mhm.
But I set my schedule around him.
Love
So
that.
I know I got to pick him up at a certain time. I know he's got to be in bed by a certain time. I know I need to be done working on whatever I'm working on by a certain time. And that's just that, and not going past that. And if I do need to work on something, he's asleep. It's not affecting our time together. I had to just stop and say, these things that you're doing, are they making that much of a difference? An extra 2 hours here? How much is that really getting you? Besides more tired, right? So I had to, there's not really, again, like a balancing beam. It's more like a prioritization. I know all the time that he's at school, I have all the time in the world to do whatever it is I'm going to do. And I need to make the most of that time. And then once he's home, I know we have homework. I know we have dinner. I know we have prayer time. I know we have Bible time. I know we have bath. Like we have a whole schedule routine. And that is what I stay within. And I've kept that. I've stopped taking on a lot of late work or anything like that because I didn't like that. And then another thing too was I really felt convicted. I really felt convicted by God to stop. Like I did not feel good about continuously pushing past my own rest time that I need to do. Like it wasn't good. So it's not so much a balance, it's more like a prioritization. And I just work my world around him the best that I can. And if something is not fitting, well then the Lord has to help me with the rest. Like, well, God, I'm doing what I need to do. I need you to make something else happen, make something shake, because it's only one of me, but you everywhere. So that's just how I have to like take it as I can. I'm only one person and I do what I can do, but it's more of a prioritization. It's never a 50-50, I got it down. I don't. I just don't make him feel like he's less than my work because he'll always be worth more.
That sounds like what we used to talk about when people used to ask us all the time, like, how do y'all balance all of this? And our thing used to be like, I like the way you put it, like as a prioritization. Exactly. We used to say we don't have a balance, we just have a flow. Yeah. And so like there's a certain way that certain things we know must happen and we know they must happen at a certain time. But I love the way you put it, like there's a prioritization. Yeah. So when you put things in the proper alignment, it makes it easier and it does remove that guilt. I don't think I've ever thought about it in that way, like, she's teaching me something tonight. Exactly. Learning some things. Like,
and then you said something else too. You said that our kids don't stay young forever. Yeah. Like that's a perfect statement because sometimes when you get caught in your present and you're working the hustle and bustle of especially entrepreneurship, doing your own business, you forget that or you don't think that until it's too late sometimes. So you just said something really big that I hope you guys are listening to because that's a great statement she just made that your kids would not be the same. Like you'll look up and next thing you know, they're 12, they're 13. Right. We watched it happen with our daughter. So you got to be careful that you don't put all this stuff in front of them and then they don't know you. Absolutely. That's a real thing. So to our next question.
Hold on, before you say that too, because so often we make the excuse that, well, we're building a legacy for them. We're building something that they're going to have when we're gone. But what about the memories with us? Exactly. Like I want you guys to really, really understand that you, like you just said, you can't buy that back. You can't pay for that. That's right. You can leave behind all the money and riches you want, but if you don't leave behind some memories and some relational things where they're able to have time with you, where they can say, man, these things about my mom, you know, I remember when we used to do this, like that's going to mean more to your child than any amount of money you could possibly leave behind because those are the things that teach them how to have relationships with other people. Exactly. If this relationship is broken, it eventually spills over into other areas of our lives. Yeah. And I think you having that balance with your child and knowing how to prioritize with your child the things that are important to you, how do you pass that on? I'm sorry, I just jumped right in for your question.
No, go ahead.
I don't know what your next question is gonna be, but how do you pass that knowledge on to your clients on how to set the prioritizations within their own business structures?
So again, with branding, for me, it's like a overarching term that is often overused. But when I actually have a client that I'm working with on branding, it's more about identity and purpose. And I have this long questionnaire, and it usually takes about 2 to 2.5 hours to go through because I'm not asking you about colors. I'm asking you about how you sleep at night. How are you really feeling about what it is that you're doing? Do you really feel like in 5 years this is gonna matter? Where do you see your family? If you're married, how do you design your life? How are you designing this business to make it make sense? One of my closest friends and mentors, Dr. Shamika Dean, said this, and I'll never forget it. She said, if you're doing it for your family, you shouldn't have to sacrifice your family to have it.
Oh, that's good.
That's really good.
You need to look right at the camera and say that. Like they need to look in their eyes. Yep. Y'all look at her eyes and hear this.
Oh yeah, that's
my
good.
friend and mentor, Dr. Shamika Dean, said, if you are doing it for your family, you shouldn't have to sacrifice your family to have it. A lot of times it is not for your family like as much as you think it is. It's to outrun trauma, what you didn't have as a child yourself. And a lot of people, at least for me personally, originally starting my business really came from a place of trauma and need and not having a support system and working 2 jobs and like, how am I going to like continue to make it? I didn't have like parents I could lean on and be like, I'm going home. Like how some people have the privilege to go home. I didn't really have that privilege. Wow. So it was like, you know, what are we gonna do? You know, so it came out of nowhere. I'm talking about post-college, looking for jobs, couldn't find anything. But a lot of that was just, I was motivated by something that I'm different than what I'm motivated by now. Like the way I am now came from all the bad decisions I made along the way that sacrificed family, that sacrificed time and all these other things that made sense then because the money was happening, but wouldn't make sense now in my future.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't be necessary now. I've gotten those lessons, and I would never relive that, Lord willing. So, like, when I think about what Dr. Shamika Dean said, I'm thinking, am I going to put my son on the altar and like sacrifice who he's becoming for a few dollars or for whatever's in the bio? Absolutely not. It's not worth it to me. And then what happens in a few years when he's looking for me and someone else? Well, my mom wasn't available emotionally because she was just, so frustrated with this and that. She never was there. My son does this thing where he'll come to me at least 3 or 4 times a day. Can I have a hug? And the old me would have been like, I just hugged you.
Yeah.
The mature me is like, I'm going to hug you as many times as you feel like you
Yes.
need.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to turn you away. And I'm not going to make you feel like you have to fight for love.
Wow.
Because
Exactly.
I don't want him one day to wake up and be like, I have to like chase after women. I've got to
Yeah.
do all these extra things in order for someone to see my value.
Yeah.
No, I need you to know that you're
That's
fearfully and
powerful.
wonderfully
Yeah.
made right now. And I need you to know that you were loved before you got here.
Yeah.
So, it takes maturity to realize you don't have to like kill the people that are designed and divinely aligned with your life in order for you to create this life for them. Are you doing it for them or for something else?
You're teaching really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Thank
So
you.
in that same grain, then, what do you hope your son take away from watching you build with such excellence?
I don't even think he knows what I really do. He was like,
Mhm.
"Where are we going tonight?" I'm like,
Yeah.
"We're going to go film a show." He's like, "Okay." He's never seen me out like really filming anything when I did other shows or talks. Like he really just like, he'll see me on TV before, but he don't be like, I know my mom does.
Yeah.
I want him to, at a minimum, if he doesn't even understand what I do, know that you can walk in leadership. You can choose to work for someone else, or you can choose to work for yourself. I just want you to choose a path that's going to be fulfilling and is in alignment with what you're designed to do. I don't care what that looks like as long as it's not immoral, unethical, unsafe, something that's completely not what you need to be doing.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he views what I do in the lens of excellence because he's so little.
Ah, okay.
He just sees me as mommy, and that's okay. Like, he can ask me one day what I do, but he did tell me he was going to own a bank and that he was going to be a boss. And sometimes he sits behind my desk like, I'm running it. I'm like,
So
okay.
he knows you're the boss.
He knows. He knows.
Like, my mama is the boss.
He
So,
knows
I
to
mean,
some degree, like I'm running something,
Like,
but
she
he
runs
don't really
something.
fully know
Yeah.
exactly what that looks like. But as he gets older and he is learning more about who I am and what I do, that'll give him an idea. Like, okay, well, there's options in the world.
Yeah.
There's options. I can become this, or I can do something different. That's really what I want him to take from me, because he had no clue what I do on a daily basis.
But you know what? Speaking of branding, like you just said, you go out and you shoot videos. He's going to get older. As he grows up and gets older, he's going to go back and see that. So it's important for your character to stay, what it is, and not, like you said earlier, you didn't say it, but you alluded to it. Not changing your character or being somebody, like you said, I'm trying to build this for them, but you're really creating a whole different persona that's not for them. It's for you because, like you said, it's trauma. I'm trying to come out of this trauma. So out of the trauma, I'm trying to do all these things.
And I want
but
people
you're
to
showing
see that I'm worthy of something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that character goes out into these cameras, and people don't think about that. Years later, as he gets older, he's gonna see that. And like you said, maybe now he don't see it.
Yeah.
But as he gets older, he looks back, and you grow out of that, and you don't want him to see that. Yeah, exactly. You want him to be proud of you, and that's a great statement you just made. Like, you want your kids to be proud of you as they get older. So that's why it's important when you're on social media and you're doing all the things, with branding and all that stuff, that you stay true to who you are, character, not trying to follow money and chase money. And all
Absolutely. And you can't undo social media.
No.
Exactly.
I don't care if they delete it. I don't care if you remove it. It's there.
Yep.
You can't undo that. People don't think about that, I think, enough, of how the permanence of the internet.
Yeah.
And there's only so much sleeping and cleaning that you can do. I wouldn't want to do something that my child would be ashamed to know, like, my mom, he would be ashamed. I don't want that. Bring that shame on him or myself.
Right.
That dishonor in that way.
I think that's beautiful. And I listened to something else you said when you were talking. You said, and I didn't want to jump in front of his question because I know I jumped in earlier. But you said, the person I am today is partly due to some of the bad decisions I made before. I think oftentimes we try to say that I'm not my bad decisions, but reality is, if you learn from those bad decisions, you are a product of those decisions. There should be something about what you do now to say that I did some stuff back then, but I learned from that. And because
Yeah.
I learned from that, that's why I am the person I am today, because I saw what the consequences of those decisions were. And I knew that that's not the person that I wanted to be. So that helped to shape me into who I am today.
Absolutely.
And when I heard you say that, I was so locked into that. And I'm like, man, I wonder how often, I'm gonna say this to y'all out there in the audience, how often have you looked at decisions that you've made and said, I don't want to be defined by this decision, but you also didn't learn from that decision. Go back to those decisions that you said you don't want to be defined by, and allow the lesson of that decision to really define you. Allow it to mold you into a better person. Allow it to mold you into somebody like Dr. V is saying, that your child, or those that are closest to you, can be proud of. They can be proud to say, that's my mama, that's my girl, that's my sister, that's my daughter, that's my child. One of the things I love, like I love when my kids, they think we like famous.
Y'all are.
Especially our daughter's friends. She's like, oh my God, I saw your mom on Facebook. And I'm like, that's crazy. And at first my daughter was like, girl, whatever. But the more that sat with me when I heard that, I'm like, wow, like that means something to me. That's special. Because it shows that all of the crazy stuff that I did, the bad decisions that I made, I learned from them, and I've been able to grow. And now I've become this woman that other young women are looking at, and they're able to come to my child and be like, your mom is so dope and so cool. And I think with your kid, as he grows up, and his friends will be able to say, dude, like, your mom is, did you see that commercial she created for Nike, or that she did for whoever, that brand thing? Like, to be able to have that, we don't do these things to be seen, but I feel like we should be seen doing amazing things.
Yes, I
definitely. Now, speaking of amazing things,
Okay.
you've done such amazing things with websites that you've been dubbed the website whisperer. Where exactly did that name come from? And then how does it reflect the way you approach branding?
So years ago, when I started designing websites, people would come to me and they were just distraught. They were just in despair. They either hired somebody years ago and then they could trying to fix it themselves, so they're the gadget ones, and then it's more jacked up than what it was, and they're like, don't judge me. I'm like, I'm not judging.
We're trying out here.
I still hear this 11 years like, don't judge me. I've seen it all at this point. You know what I mean? I've seen it. I know it's a little crazy. It's okay. Like, it's no judgment zone. Or they hired somebody and they couldn't get access to their website anymore. And people have to understand there's a difference between having your website and having your domain. Those are two separate entities, and you need to have it all. But if you hire the wrong company, then you may not have legal rights or access because of your contract and how those things were acquired, which makes a big deal. So sometimes I would go after the other company and get it back. But it would take a lot of like force and elbow digging in order for them to like release it and let it go. But though a whisperer, and there was a show called The Cat Whisperer. I don't know if y'all are familiar with that. But this guy would like, that guy would go and help them people whose cats was fighting them and like scratching them. And I was like, let the cat go. Let the cat go.
Listen,
you got one time.
You put him down, neutralize.
Kick him out.
You're not scratching me. And you definitely not scratching my child, So I'm like, they would call me, can you help us with Peggy? Peggy's over here, Peggy's attacking Billy.
Get rid of Peggy.
Man, Peggy gotta go. Oh, Peggy looking depressed. Peggy had a hard life. She did. And so he would be like, okay, I'm gonna take Peggy, and Peggy just, over here fighting him, but he's still with it, But I don't know how he would do it or how he would talk to these cats, and whatever he trained them, he would bring them back, and they were just so more docile and just. They were able to integrate them into the family, and the family didn't have to like get rid of them, and they were able to have that bond. Wow. In the same way, when people would come to me with their websites, they were throwing it away. They was tired. They was fried out and laid to the side. And I was like, bring it here, bring it hither. And I'm going to look at what's really wrong, but then also let's talk about what's really going on with your business. The issue isn't just the website. You're embarrassed. You're feeling ashamed to share what you do, which is also affecting your ability to sell what you do.
Wow.
Because you're too ashamed to like show them, how you got there and what you do. And then it's affecting your credibility, and the people you really want to work with, you don't feel comfortable going after because you feel like they'll see it and know that you ain't really, even if you are good, they can't tell, right? By looking at it. So I told them like, I'll help you to fix this. And it actually was very healing for people. So like, I just started calling myself the website whisperer one day in 2020. I was like, it's been 6 years. I think at this point, I started calling myself that, and eventually people caught on, and then I just said, let me trademark this. I ain't playing.
I love that.
I had to make it
you did
official.
not wait. You didn't wait for somebody to label you something. You knew exactly what
Exactly.
you were, and you began to call yourself that, and people just caught on. Listen, catch the word.
Yep.
Know who you are, declare who you are, and everybody else will follow suit.
Branding is a narrative. You tell the
love
story, right? I'm not a publicist, though I do work with people who are publicists. But PR is basically telling the public the story you want them to believe.
Exactly.
One of my viral videos on TikTok came from this whole issue with Keith Lee and this restaurant. They were doing some crazy stuff, and they didn't have any type of PR. And I created a video like, here's what I would have done if I was your brand manager, because there's no way you would be out here in these digital streets doing what you're doing, disrespecting the people. There's no way. And I mean, it hit 1 million views, and I was like, dang, that's kind of crazy. But I was just giving a general step by step. But really, branding is priming people. It's getting them to believe a certain narrative, because if they believe it, that's how they operate. It's really faith.
Yeah.
It really is. It's telling a narrative enough for people to say, okay, well, when I think about Dr. Cynthia, or when I think about Jessica and James Carter, I think about XYZ. Because you've said it enough, they start to believe it, and that's what they tell other people. So you have to learn how to tell the story you really want for people to know. And then you got to embody that. You got to be like, I'm that person. And you actually have to follow through with what you're saying that you're able to do. But essentially, branding is just kind of coining something the way you want it to go and sharing that message a certain way.
Wow. That's, you guys, I hope you guys
I almost got a
listening.
little speech. I was trying to say something, but it wasn't coming out. Like, the
No,
verse
no.
was here, but they wasn't coming here.
She's
That was
dropping
good.
big nuggets that we're sitting back just listening, because I love everything.
You're soaking it all in.
Everything you're saying is, I hope that you guys are
You
listening.
the first guest that done about made me speechless. I'm like, I got words. I promise y'all I can talk. Y'all know I can talk.
That's so good what you said, though, because you're the narrative. And I think you said earlier, we bypassed this, but I want to go back to it.
Sure.
You said earlier, that you trademarked it.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing that a lot of people just totally forget, that, you'll do something and you'll see that people will begin to catch on to the thing that you're doing. And instead of trademarking, like you just said, making sure that it is yours and can't nobody get it. And there's a story I just thought about, but I can't talk about it. But based on what you just said about trademarking, when you trademark something, it's yours. If somebody, let's say you start a saying, or you do something that's big, it takes off. If somebody else trademark it, it's theirs now. You cannot do anything. So what you just said is so important, that you need to make sure that if it's a thing that you've started, a store that you've started, a saying that you've started, you trademark immediately. And you don't have this. You can do 1 million trademarks. Like, I mean,
They're not free though.
They not. They can be a little expensive.
Yeah, they're expensive, but when you do those trademarks, they're yours. Like, literally. But the thing is, you don't know if it's going to blow up or not. Man, you don't really know, but you do know that it's something that you started.
But if you create if you build a story like Dr. V is saying here,
and be
you will
prepared
know.
for it. Well, faith.
But most people who blow up, it doesn't happen by happenstance.
That's
it
true
seems
too.
like it does. But there's a lot of strategy that's put behind the scenes that most of us don't see. And all of a sudden you see somebody, oh my God, they blew up out of nowhere. It's like the story I was telling in church on Sunday about the bamboo. Like, that thing takes 5 years just about growing under the ground. And then all of a sudden it grows 2 inches, every hour?
Every hour.
2 inches every hour. Once, after about 3 to 5 years, it breaks above the ground.
It takes time
and now
to get rooted properly.
grows and it's growing 2 inches every hour. And it's like, oh my God, that thing just came out of nowhere. No, it didn't. For 5 years under the earth, the roots were growing, and they were growing so that when it does shoot up, because it knows how fast it's going to grow and how massive it's going to get, it has to be able to sustain that. So there's a lot of work that happens underneath the surfaces while your roots are being planted. And people don't take the time to do that root work, and building your brand story. That's a part of your root work. Would you agree with that?
I would. And I will also say this. I actually keep a trademark attorney on clutch
I was going to
for
get to
my
that
clients
question.
as
My
well.
question's going to say, can you talk about trademarking just for a couple seconds?
Just because I keep a...
Don't give them too much, because they're going to have to pay for sending marketing services.
Exactly.
I'm going to give them a little bit.
But I do, so there's a couple things. I keep a trademark attorney. She's actually a client of mine, but I keep her around for every client that needs that or has questions about it. Because if you're really considering trademarking, you got to be locked in. You got to be connected like long term. You're not trying to change this up in 2 years, okay?
Exactly.
If the business doesn't blow up the way you want, or something's happening in the business, like, you do realize that trademark is going to cost you some money. It takes about a year
to get it all
to get it, or you may not get it. You may have pushback, right? Because there's different classifications when it comes to trademarking. You may be getting it for clothing. You may be getting it for something else. So You got to have a lawyer to really help you with how you're going to be classifying. You got to pay for each one of those that you're going after. But I keep an attorney on deck when it comes to that. And so if I have a client that's serious about maybe trademarking their company, go talk to her first. Don't be connected and committed to a name that you really can't have in a classification that you can't go for.
Exactly.
Another thing too is when it comes to like logos design. When I talk to clients about logo design, they're like, I need you to take it really serious, okay? Because if you're designing something yourself on Canva, it probably won't stand up in court or won't be able to be something that you can trademark. There are licensing restrictions inside of some of these different systems that are being used, which is why it's important to go ahead and get something customized for you so you can get your source files and then you can get the information you need to give it to an attorney to potentially trademark that for you. Also, when it comes to those types of things, your designer owns everything until they release that to you. So a lot of people don't know that, and they'll be having their stuff on all these different things. And what if you go fall out bad with the designer you had? Oh, well, I own it.
You don't
I
own
never
it.
trade. I never transferred the ownership to you. That's bad. I offer that to my clients, and I have for years. And I've been trying to tell them, like, you can go anywhere you want to go, but I think you'll be safer over here because you actually will own your stuff at the end of it, and then I'm gonna send you to a lawyer.
Yep.
I think people think like logos and all of that stuff, like as long as I give me a cute design, I can use it for whatever I want to use it for. And there's so many people right now that are, especially since, COVID happened, people were, leaving their jobs and starting businesses and things like that. And they jumped into it without doing the research it takes to actually build a sustainable business because it just seemed like a fad at the moment. And not realizing that, like you said, you getting a cute logo and just putting it somewhere, that's fun. It's all fun and games until something serious happened and now you're in court for something that you put sometimes thousands of dollars into because people was charging like astronomical numbers for these designs and they weren't releasing, but people didn't know that was even something they needed to request. I remember the first logo I ever had designed and I didn't know that I needed to request that from that person. And so when things didn't go right, it was like, now I can't use my design anymore. I got to go and get somebody else to design it. And then when I went to the next person and I asked them about it, okay, so what do I need to do to have my design be fully in my ownership? And they was like, oh, no, nothing. I was like, no, I need something in writing.
It's a copyright release.
I need something in writing. I didn't, at the time, I was a little ignorant. I didn't know what it was. I'm like, there should be something in writing.
Can hurt you.
Write me a note or something to tell me that this belongs to me. Because the last time I had this situation, and so many people are going through trial and error and learning after they paid thousands of dollars. That's why it's important to have somebody like Dr. V on your team that is skilled and knowledgeable and is going to be able to tell you, wait, with every single step that you're taking in your business, these are the things that you need to make sure that are in your ownership, not just because people think just owning the business name is enough.
Oh no. It's not enough. It's not enough. And if you're going to be getting a business name, go ahead and get your domain. I had designed a website for a city, an entire city in Alabama. They let that domain expire. And when I went back and looked it up, it was like $3,000.
Wow.
Whoa.
And domains are literally real estate in the digital space. That's really what there are companies that just buy domains and sell them. You can rent. You can get the domain for two. It's like basically paying rent for the domain until it's paid off. Like if you are leasing your domain at this point, we're not doing that. Get something else. You know what I'm saying? But some domains have a certain authority that's just going to bring you so many people because it's going to be searched so much that it makes sense for certain people to get it. But I always tell people, like, quit letting it lapse. It's like letting your insurance lapse. It's literally like letting your insurance, your health insurance, your car insurance lapse, and you don't think you're going to need it. Until you get sick, and then you get into an accident, and you're like, "Oh, I hope they rear-ended me," because it's their fault.
Their fault.
It's their fault automatically. But what if you are the one that's the issue? And okay, well, you let it lapse. Now you got to pay for it, and you're paying way more than you needed. You should have come out of pocket. You might have to let the car go. Same thing would happen with that domain that was connected to that website. And then another thing I have seen happen too. People not renewing their domains is somebody else will buy it and then they'll connect it to something that's completely different. A church website got connected to something that was obscene. Obscene. You know how bad that can hurt your brand? Look at what you out here promoting. We didn't know.
Exactly.
Well, that's not our stuff. Well, I can't tell. It's the Church of God. And it got so bad. Nobody Who's gonna know that?
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
but again, that's just certain things protecting your brand. You can't let certain things you have to know are important to maintain. Even if you change your website, that domain, if you're getting a trademark, you better make sure that's right. If you're gonna get the company name, you better make sure you have more than just a name reservation. You need to make sure that you got the whole shebang. Get you an LLC. You need to get it all established in a certain way.
Now,
You know.
what we just been talking about this entire time
Mhm.
is we heard a smart person tell us, hire your weakness.
Yes.
Absolutely.
It helps you. It
Baby, this
supports
is
you.
our weakness right here,
Yes,
sitting over here.
to hire your weakness. So that means you hire. That means if we're weak in this particular situation, then hire someone who you know is an expert, because they're going to help you not spend all the money that you just said. And one thing people don't think about is
And
when you let me say this, when you hire. I'm
I
sorry.
be cutting
I
him
know.
off.
We're
He
gonna
be
jump
so
in.
good. He
Let
be
me-
talking so good.
But
My
no,
bad.
so when you hire when you're preparing to hire somebody, most time we always think the price of hiring that person. But
Think
we
alike.
often
I was about to say
but we
that.
often never think about the cost that is what it's going to cost us if we don't hire this person.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
It's going to cost way more in particular situations than it would, and you don't think about those years that would save you. So when we first started one of our first businesses, we were trying to do everything. I mean, we were doing everything.
We was everybody.
And
we was
yes,
PR,
we were
management,
not only were we tired,
secretary,
Okay.
wore out.
yes, and it failed hard, and we lost thousands of dollars doing that. But the next time around, we did multiple business. We're still doing a lot now. But since then, we've been hiring our weakness, the thing that we know that we're not good at. And since then, it's been so much. I mean, even now, you guys, we're sitting at Bar Glass, and we don't do well with cameras and editing, but these guys are. So as you guys are watching this video, you guys will notice that it's clear, it's perfectly, the sound is great. But that's because we've hired our weakness, because we don't have to do that.
Right.
So in this case with Dr. V, you guys need to hire her if you're thinking about trademark, if you're thinking about your website, you're thinking about your domain. Everything she just said, she just dropped a whole lot of wisdom that you guys don't have to think about. Just let her think about it. And it happens like that in business. Not just in this situation, but in every situation that you think about. Whenever you get ready to move over as being a CEO, don't be how they call them? They call them entrepreneur. It's the person that works.
No, don't have me lying.
I forget the word that we heard this word in one of the meetings that we went to, but it's a person that's trying to run their own business, but they're doing everything. So instead of working for somebody else, you're just working for yourself, and that's not you're not a CEO. You're not a person.
You're self-employed.
Yeah, you're not a business owner.
And people don't realize that there's a difference.
There's a big difference.
There's a difference.
And you don't want to tire yourself out by trying to leaving one job, working for somebody else, and then start working for yourself and not hiring people properly to make sure that everything is taken care of. And then you can think in the business to make sure that you're having the witty ideas that God gives to keep moving. You can't do that when you're tired and you're always doing something in there. They're coming at you and they're suing you for situations that's happened that you didn't even think about, but somebody else could have if you'd hired. But that's the cost of not hiring those people. That's the cost of not doing the thing that you should have done back in the beginning. So I'm sorry, that was my little small.
No. So take a look. So right now, take a look at why you should hire the Website Whisperer.
Your brand deserves more than just a pretty website. At CBeyond Marketing Resource Center, home of the Website Whisperer, Dr. Cynthia Videau, we turn reputation into revenue through powerful design and strategy. We specialize in web design, graphic design, brand strategy, billboard design, brand management, business protection, and digital marketing. Whether you're launching a new business and need a strong online presence, or refreshing your brand to attract the right clients, whether you have an event, a campaign, or a big announcement coming up, or you're ready to protect and manage your brand with clarity and confidence, we create strategies that help your brand stand out, stay compliant, and scale with ease. Ready to elevate your brand? Visit cynthiavideau.com or call 256-770-4550 today, because your brand deserves strategy, not guesswork. CBeyond Marketing Resource Center, home of the Website Whisperer, Dr. Cynthia Videau.
So that's why you guys should hire the Website Whisperer. But no, for real, as you guys saw that, she's amazing at what she does, and she does a whole lot in the community. So let's see if we can get back to it. So real quick, the next question. You often say reputation is revenue. Can you share a story that proves how true that is?
So when I originally started creating websites, my first website was maybe $400. The highest website I've sold is $25,000. That did not come overnight, nor did that come because I just do so well.
Yeah.
It actually took time to build up a reputation strong enough for people to be like, oh, okay, yeah, makes sense. And I'm sure, and there's way more people literally charge way more than even that to be doing like different websites. But your reputation really does precede you. People talk. Word of mouth is like the number one form of marketing, even with online and all that. People talk. And that talk is what helps build trust. People buy from people that they like, they know, and they trust all the time, right? So if those elements are not quite there, there's usually something wrong. I'm pretty big on reviews. If anybody has a problem, like, issues with their previous designer, I want you to go Google me. I recommend you go Google me, because then you will find all these 5-star reviews of like, this is the perfect person. Or you can go review the portfolio, or you can go find hundreds of videos of me talking about different things, or you can follow up with different people who left those reviews. Your reputation helps to bring other people to you that will see the value in what you do. So that's why I say your reputation is really your revenue. It's not to say that it's dollar for dollar, like your value. But when you have a solid reputation, it makes a difference. When you hear of a big name going somewhere, like Monica and Brandy in their concert they're getting ready to have, when you hear like of certain names going certain places, it's because of their reputation, right? And that drives revenue. There are brands and companies that like to connect with certain people because they know that name brings a certain amount of money. So that's why I say that your reputation is really your revenue. A poor reputation can really affect people buying from you, trusting you, liking you, or wanting to invest in whatever it is, even if they need it. Even if they need it, people will go to someone that may not be as skilled or as popular, but because of their reputation, they'll buy from them even if it costs more.
That is very true.
People want to be where they feel like they are making it's really more about how they subconsciously see the decision that they're making. They want to feel like they made a good decision. They don't want to feel embarrassed by their decision, right? So if they are aligning themselves with somebody that has a good reputation, it boosts their confidence and their reputation as well. It's innately, we're selfish as people. We do what's in our best interest. So then we're going to like, so-and-so did my stuff.
Exactly.
It really makes them feel a certain way. But the only reason people would feel that way is if you're carrying your brand a certain way, right? It's like having Coach or Gucci or whatever those name brands are. We know that sometimes that material is not any different. I mean, y'all can endorse me if you want. But we know that there are some more major brands, right? And their brands, it's because of the brand that they charge what they do. I don't know if y'all ever saw that video where Payless put a whole bunch of shoes inside of a store and didn't tell nobody it was Payless shoes. And the people went, oh my gosh, these are amazing. Did you see that buckle on there? And they're just like spending $600, $500, $400 for Payless shoes. And then when they found out it was Payless, they felt crazy. But because they thought it was a brand, their reputation seemed like it was more hoity-toity for what they are used to. They spent more. It's perception.
How many of y'all have done that before? You went off the reputation of something or someone, and you hired them or you bought from them or something like that. If that's you, don't be ashamed. Just in the comments, I want you to say, it's the reputation for me. And sometimes people live up to the reputation. There are times when you may be disappointed, but for the most part, when someone has a good reputation and they have a ton of 5-star reviews like what you're talking about, these are from people who have had experiences with them, and people being able to share their experiences, that adds validity to your craft. Because there's some people who can be really good at what they do, but at the same time, if nobody is talking about them,
nobody knows.
Nobody wants to hire them. But until you can get someone to almost vouch for you and to say, yes, I've done this with them, or they've done that for me, and they were excellent at that, it can get somebody else's attention to be like, oh, now let me take a look at what they do.
That's right.
It's amazing that you say that, because so for my business, I did the same thing with the Google reviews. So my wife and I, we were out. This was like maybe 8 years or so ago. We were traveling, and we had to go to a hotel. And the first thing she did was she grabbed the phone and started looking through reviews.
Don't have me staying anywhere.
4.5 and above.
Exactly. So I noticed then the power of reviews. So when I got back home at my studio, my Launch Studios is my business. when I got back home, people would like to give me tips. So they would give me tips. And like you just said, those tips are just between me and that person. You know, they'll give me more money and all that stuff. But after we went out that time, it's like God told me when I was coming back, stop accepting tips and start getting them to write reviews, because that's the thing that's going to, and that's before
Sharing
Google
their honest
took off. That
experience.
was about 10 years ago, yeah. So what I did was, when they was trying to give me tips, I said, oh, if you don't mind, I'm gonna send you a link. Can you boom, boom? And then when they did that and they wrote their reviews, I started getting, so like you said, the reputation. It's revenue.
Yeah.
As people start doing that, I started getting so many bookings and people started calling my studio and coming over. But like I was, Friday. Yeah, Friday. This guy came over, he had his daughter, she's 10 years old. And I said, man, how did you hear about me? Man, I was looking at the reviews and man, those reviews are spectacular. And he said, man, you're the guy. Like nobody else, I'm going to nobody else. So I'm happy that you just made that statement, because you're so right that your reputation is revenue. Like and I've been living that for the past, I don't know, 5-6 years, to where I don't have to promote. Now, I have promoted before. I promoted, we paid thousands of dollars on doing a video that we put in the Monaco. Yeah, the Monaco here, that's one of the biggest movie theaters over on Bridge Street. No, I put the video in there. It took a lot to get it shot first, and then we put
pay for the video to be shot.
But that's when what was it? The Marvel thing, the big
the Avengers movie,
the Endgame. That's when the Endgame was going. So I said, I'm gonna get in front of all of this. I'm put this money in, put a lot of money in towards that, and getting in front of the certain crowd. We even went into the movie theater and saw it on the screen.
It was beautiful.
I'm talking about fantastic.
But we were in front of a crowd of people who had never heard of us before. So it sparked nothing in them. We spent all of that money. And it brought no clients.
It had me so mad. I couldn't believe it. But doing the Google thing, like you said, your reputation. As I did that and people began to tell their real reviews and what they were really doing, I had people from Connecticut.
I think every new client that we've gotten in 2025 has literally been because we always ask them, what brought you to the studio? Oh, I saw y'all
2023, 2024.
I was on Google looking for a studio, and yours is the first one that pops up.
Amazing.
And it's all 5 stars. So we just had to call.
So what you're saying, I'm a testament of what you just said. It's so good to understand that your reputation and understanding how to have, like you said, that 5-star, but not that it's you. And people, not that you're not paying for them to do this. People will do that, but when they do that, they'll feel like, if I read that this is a great brand, then I'm gonna go to this place where everybody else is going. And like you said, it's my status quo to say that I was able to, because as soon as I send the link to them, they immediately get on there and start, oh my God, yes, man, I had a great time. That was amazing. And they write, and then I get another client and another client and another client. So.
But I'm happy you made the statement that we're not paying them to do this, because it has to be authentic. Because if you got people saying great stuff about you, eventually people are gonna come and then they're gonna see that you're garbage.
You can't live up to the reputation.
You can't live up to that.
Don't lie.
And now you start to create your reputation, and it's not what's out there. And so because you're not matching up with what's out there, now you start to affect your revenue. Because now your reputation starts to shift, because what's out there now is hype. And your reputation is what you're presenting even after someone has said you were great. Are you as great as what they say?
Take time to develop yourself
them
first.
declaring you great is going to bring people to you. But when they get there, are you going to, like you said, are you going to mirror that greatness or that brand story that you've created? Now, are you embodying that? So when people get to know you, now it's like, now they become a part of your brand. They become a part of building your reputation.
They're speaking for you.
That's right.
So now, last thing I want to hit, because we're running out of time. We always do. Right? We try so hard.
It's so good.
We try so hard to
gotta bring you back.
Time. Okay. But we've been having some great people on the show, and it's been great conversations. Last question for you, because this one I think is extremely important, and a lot of people are I'm not gonna say a lot of people, because I don't want y'all to make it seem like y'all was ignorant just because
they
I was
don't know.
ignorant.
No, just playing.
I didn't know. When we first had a conversation about, and you were talking to me about ADA compliance on my website, I had no clue what that meant. I mean, I know about Americans with Disabilities Act and all of that stuff, but I was like, what that got to do with my website? Can you tell people why being ADA compliant is so important when it comes to your online business?
Yeah, so there's several reasons, but when it comes to our government and ADA compliance, our websites are considered public spaces, just like how we're in a public space right now, or if we're going to Walmart and we are able to pull into like the handicap space, we shouldn't be in there unless you got like tag. But there's wheelchairs or there's space in the aisles, but there are accommodations. Basically, there are reasonable accommodations that are in place so that people with disabilities are able to do what you and I are able to do every day. There are people that are blind, people that are deaf, people that are not able to operate in the digital space in the same way that you and I do. So if your website is not set up in that way, the assistive technologies that they use on their laptops and phones that will read to them, that will help them navigate, like the keys are on there. If your website is not set up in that way, they can't operate in the same way as you and I. And that's often taken for granted. Because if that's not your like reality, then you probably don't think about it. But when we go a little further than that, we're talking about public entities. Our government entities have to have that as well. So when people are trying to vote, they're trying to register for school, colleges, universities, trying to register their kids. They're trying to go on public sites. It all has to be accessible to people. And there's an organization called the World Wide Web Consortium, or the WC3. They are actually the ones that set the guidelines for what that requirement looks like. Because it's not just something that you can just do. You have to know how to set that up inside the site, and it's set up in the build typically. So we can do remediation, or we'll run a scan to see where your site is. Is it meeting the requirements, the Title II requirements that you need to have? But also, this was happening a lot during the pandemic, and it hasn't stopped. A lot of the narrative around ADA was to scare business owners, right, into getting it done because of lawsuits, which is true. You can be sued. I had a celebrity who was on one of those VH1 shows that I had talked to about it, but she was already sued for $40,000. There are actual attorneys who work with either organizations with people that disabilities organizations, or they just work independently to find companies that are not meeting those requirements, and they sue. They just send a demand letter and they request a certain amount of money. And because the organization is not able to prove that they were compliant at the time, guess what they do? They settle. That was tanking businesses during the pandemic.
Crazy.
Tanking them. You hear me? All that pandemic money, people were going bankrupt because they're like, oh my God, what do I do? They couldn't prove that they had anything compliant. So whenever we're building websites, we install technology. We actually build it into your site to meet the requirements, so that if you are cited or you are audited, we can say, hey, it's literally a say powered by CBI Marketing Resource Center. Here's what's on your site. And then we have maintenance to do the ongoing upkeep of that. We can do reports in case you're audited, but a lot of business owners don't know about it. They don't know that ADA is not just physical. It has to do with the technology that we use. And there are lawsuits where even Netflix and EA Sports, Targets were sued because they thought, well, we're just a store. We have a website, but we don't see the big deal. Sued and lost.
Wow.
Wow.
So it's, again, those were some of the bigger cases, but that's not the only cases. So it's really important that if you want all people to be able to access your services, your studio, to make it inclusive for them. So if they happen to be blind, or they happen to be deaf, or they're maybe dyslexic, and they want to be able to book with you and share their story, that they're able to use the technology that's available to them to be able to do that. To me, personally, it's like I have a heart for that. Like when I think about the number of people whose lives are just like different in their way, they have had to learn the world doesn't always bend for them. The world does not bend for them. I think that sometimes the world forgets, because if you don't encounter somebody every day that's blind, or somebody every day that's deaf or use hearing aids, or even just an older person that's trying to read the website, the text need to be larger for them, right?
Yeah.
Like my mom, they need to be a little larger. We miss those things because it doesn't affect us yet. And we haven't gotten to that point, or we're not in that position. And so I think it's important, just from a branding standpoint, to let other people know, that extra 15 to 20% of people that are out there online, hey, we love you, we care about you, and we're doing the best we can to accommodate your needs. So you don't have to even go somewhere else. If you want to come in and share your story, we're able to assist you with that. If you want to go buy a candle online, we're able to assist you with that, because our site cares enough, our company cares enough to include you in the thought process of how we're going to carry out our brand from here on out. So to me, it's not a one-time thing. It's something you have to continue to do and upkeep. I think it's a way of showing love and care, and also mitigating the risks that are associated with you having a website, because you hold a responsibility with how that public space is being used and managed.
So that's reason number 999
Exactly.
why you need to hire Dr. V and
Exactly.
See Beyond Marketing Resources to get you together, because she thinks of things that you probably have never even considered.
Never.
Right?
Because I was just thinking like, oh my God.
I'm sitting here like,
Oh my God.
check my stuff out. Like, I want to say it all like, on the
We got to
camera,
get off this camera so we can have another conversation outside of this one.
Right. We can get a book of consultation now. Get our stuff together.
But it's been good though. I think
Before we go, is there anything else that you would like to share? Oh, no, we would like for you to tell us what is next on the horizon for See Beyond Marketing.
So I would like, I'm kind of like, I really want to bring in a couple of other people who can kind of manage the day-to-day for me. I think I've been in the day-to-day long enough, and I just really want to bring in a really good ops person. I got my eye on a couple of good people to just be the ops person to kind of manage the day-to-day, because the business itself can run on its own. I really desire to move into other businesses. So See Beyond will be around. It's doing its own thing, web design, branding, brand strategy. I want to be able to teach more, because I teach about brand strategy, which is a whole nother conversation we want to have time for today, and what happens in the psychology behind that to really help people understand what they're really signing up for with that brand.
Yeah.
So we got to bring you back.
Got to bring you back so we can break that
Exactly.
down more, so people will stop trying to be something they're not and just be who they are and be okay with it.
Exactly.
But we're really getting into more government contracts, more corporate contracts when it comes to teaching brand strategy and creating corporate strategies for them. So I already do it for entrepreneurs, I do it for nonprofits, but I really want to continue to move to the government space and help them and their teams like get a culture together that makes sense long term. So get somebody around my day-to-day and me teaching and doing podcasts and stuff like that.
I love it.
Awesome.
I love it. So it's been good. I've had fun. Have you learned something?
I've learned a lot.
Yeah.
A whole lot.
Hey, have you guys
was
learned
I
something?
supposed to close? Because I
don't know. We never know who's gonna close. We just here.
Let's just do it together.
Okay, how we gonna do it?
This has been great having Dr. V
This
with
has
us.
been great having Dr.
Thank
V
you for
with us.
having me.
You get on my nerves so bad.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Thank you.
This has been great though.
It
I
really
had a lot of fun. I've learned a whole lot. And guys, please, if you guys are having issues or problems in your businesses when it comes to website, now you guys just heard she's getting ready to shift out of that. I mean, it's still going to be there. It's going to be around. She's going to have a mentee.
But you might not get her like.
Yeah,
so you need to get her while you can get her.
Hurry up and call.
Don't
and quick, if you don't
sleep on
mind.
it.
Yeah, sure.
If they wanted to contact you, how would they do that?
So they can go directly to my website, which is just cynthiavideau.com, CYNTHIAVIDEAU.com. They can always call my office at 256-770-4550. You Google See Beyond Marketing Resource Center, we're going to come up.
There you
All
go.
those are any of those ways, but you definitely can. If they go to the website and fill out the form that's there, depending on where your answers are, it'll take you directly to the calendar, or it'll redirect you to a different service that may be a better fit before we get started on a full rebrand.
Wow, that's it.
And we're gonna put that in the caption of this video just in case you didn't catch it when she speed read it to y'all.
Oh, they can slow down. You can rewind. You can go real slow.
Yeah.
Well, they got a little thing where you can speed it up and slow it down. You can't slow. Can you slow it down?
A little
Yes.
2 speeds.
You can speed it up to one
Yeah.
point. Yeah.
And you hold the other side.
Yep, exactly. Slow it down. See that? You guys can wind this thing back and go back. But hey, for your own businesses, make sure you guys take your own time and do your due diligence and hire the right people, because you definitely need them. Trust me, it could cost you way more on the back end than it would on the front end, getting what you guys need. So this has been a great day with a great night, as my wife said earlier. It is nighttime, but wherever you guys want to see this, it's been great having Dr. V with us. We're going to see if we can get her back with us. So if you guys would like to see her back, please put in the comments below and say, please come back,
more.
Dr. V. Yeah. So that's been Chatting with the Carters and Dr. V. See you guys on the next one.
Thank you guys for tuning in to this episode of Chatting with the Carters. We have some amazing things on the horizon, particularly on February the 6th. We want you to mark that day on your calendars.
Mark that date.
We will be bringing back Lovers Conversations, and you will get the opportunity to experience a live Chatting with the Carters, live and in person. Go ahead and click the link below and get your tickets right now. Secure that. Also on February 6th, our book, Becoming One, will be released. You want to get that book. Go ahead and pre-order that book
Pre-order
today.
now.
Right down here in the captions.
Yep, go get it, guys. See you guys soon.